You are listening to the Manifest It Sis podcast, a safe space for women of color to explore all things manifesting, wellness, self-care, and personal development. You are always manifesting, and now you can do it intentionally and consciously to create the life of your dreams. Each episode gives you actionable tips and strategies, from the spiritual to the practical, that will help you get from where you are to exactly where you want to be, with grace and ease. Thanks for tuning in. Here's your host, intuitive life coach, Danny Faust.
Welcome back to the Manifest It Sis podcast. I'm your host, Danny Faust, and you're listening to episode number 4, What to Do When Life Gets Shitty, especially during COVID-19 drama. Okay, maybe that title will change, but you get the point of today's episode. I want to share with you 6 things to remember when life brings some bullshit your way, for lack of a better term. When things get crazy, when things just get out of hand, there are 6 things I want you to keep in mind so that you can make it through unscathed. And after that, I'm going to give you a few tips to help you very specifically during this COVID-19 situation that we're going through. Right now, it's crazy. I'm not sure if you're listening to a replay, but I'm recording this on April 9th, 2020. We are in basically a lockdown. We are quarantining or sheltering in place, and people are losing their lives left and right to this pandemic. It's wild out here in these streets, and that can be a lot to take on, a lot to handle and live through. So I hope these tips help you get through this drama and whatever other drama you might go through in your life that might not be pandemic related. So let's jump in. The first tip is to remember that it's temporary. Everything is for a season or two. So while you're in the thick of things, while you're dealing with the job loss, the depression, the divorce, the sickness, whatever it is, you feel so buried in it. You feel so mired in this. But it's important to remember that it is temporary. It is a season. If you think back, you can clearly remember times when you were in times of struggle or hardship, illness, other hard things to deal with in the past, and you made it out. You might not have been happy when you got out of it. You might have been changed for better or worse, but you made it through alive, and you were then able to go and tackle the rest of your life and make it what you want it to be. So remembering that it is a season is just one way to keep top of mind, like, I will get through it. If you need to give yourself a mantra, that might help. If you can reach for it in times of just despair, make a mantra. I will get through this. I am strong. I am capable. Things like that might help you, even if you're just running them through your head as you're sitting there, like trying not to spiral out into negative thoughts. Whatever it is, you can bring some kind of control and peace to yourself by doing this. Specifically with this coronavirus thing that we're going through currently here in 2020, spiritually, I and some other of my friends in the spiritual community have received messages that this is literally a season. The words I received was that it's a winter. So we're going through a winter. So 3 to 4 months of this kind of hunkered down hibernation. And then we're going to come out and it's going to be a spring. And you know what spring is: rebirth, renewal, fresh growth, flowers. Yes. So try to think of this season that you're going through, whether it's the COVID drama or something else in your life, as just a winter. And just know that spring is coming. The second is to talk about it. Talk about it with a friend, a family member, you're a pastor, I don't know. Even if it's just you and God, get it out. Speak to someone about it. You don't have to have a stiff upper lip. You don't have to be tough and tough this out. You're not here to suffer. Sis, you are not here to suffer, and you're certainly not here to suffer alone. Everyone has been through hard times. Even if they're not the specific hard times you're going through, someone can relate. I complain. I complain to my husband. I talk to my mom, my friends. I have to get it out because if I don't, I'm going to go crazy. I'm one of those people who has to push my energy out because if I allow it to just stay in me, I'll bubble up and then I'll explode on someone that does not deserve it. I'm working on it. Okay. I'm working on it. Don't judge me. But yeah, please talk about it. And if you don't have anyone in your life that you can talk to, there are so many hotlines. I'll put some in the show notes. And there are therapists galore. There are several therapists that come to you basically. If you don't have one in your life and you're not in the headspace to go and seek one out, because honestly, for me at least, I'm trying to find a Black female therapist in South Florida, and it's like finding a needle in a haystack. So if you have a similar issue, try one of those digital therapy apps. There are several of them out now, so you can try a few and see if you can find one that resonates deeply with you. But either way, just get out your feelings. And honestly, if you can't, if you have zero other options, get it out with a pen and paper. Everything is energy, right? Including bad feelings and bad thoughts. So even if you're getting it out of your body by writing it out on pen and paper, that is something that can be healing too. So just get it out of you. Don't sit and stew and suffer and let these emotional energies turn into an ulcer or an illness. All right. Number three, I wrote down as cry and throw shit. And yes, do both. Maybe don't throw anything that is breakable, but if you need to throw like a teddy bear across the room to get out your frustration, hey, do it. I'm all for it. Just be safe. But crying, it's a natural catharsis. Let that out. Again, it's all energy, right? And are you one of those people who cry when you're frustrated or angry? Like you're not sad, you're not a little bitch, but you're just so frustrated and here come the tears. I'm that kind of person. So if you're like me, get it out. Just release it. I've had clients who I have calls with during their sessions. They just say one thing and then they're bawling for like 5 minutes. And then immediately after they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I had to get that out. And it's like, yes, good. I'm glad I could hold space for you. So whether you have someone that you can cry with or not, cry alone, in the shower, in your bed, over there, under there. It doesn't matter. Let it out. Cry, be angry, scream into a pillow. These are frustrating times. No matter what you're going through, what you feel is what you feel. So there's no use in thinking like, oh, I should be able to handle this, or so-and-so could handle this. Why can't I? Who cares? That is irrelevant. All that matters is that you get these feelings out. That way you're better equipped to handle what comes. You can't do things you have a more clear head after you get a cry out, after you talk things out. You need to have a clear head, a clear space to operate from. And if you are holding in feelings of panic, worry, anxiety, and trying to force your way through it without allowing yourself to release, girl, that's just trouble. You won't be able to help yourself or anybody else. So yeah, cry and throw shit, please. The next one on the list is distract and self-soothe. And this one, it's a slippery slope with this one because we still have to exist, right? We still have to do what we have to do to survive, to take care of our families, to take care of ourselves. And we can easily kind of slide down I'm just distracting myself and it's self-care. And then you're just watching TV all day, binge watching shows and eating ice cream and then not getting what you have to get done. Which is really avoidance. And that's the slippery slope on the other side of this. But what I mean is self-soothe and distract within reason. So, if you've been sticking to a very strict diet and you are going through these hard times, you know what? Be gentle with yourself. Have the ice cream, eat the bread. Don't hold yourself to that high standard. Do something that's going to soothe you and be okay with it. But set that parameter in your mind like, okay, I'm doing this, but this is not who I am for good. I'm going to just binge watch these shows, Thursday night. I'm just going to binge watch shows and relax and not think about my problems. But Friday morning, I'm going to get back at it and do what I have to do. Just give yourself the parameters, but distract yourself from the heaviness of what's going on when you can. It is okay to do that. Don't feel like you have to push through. And when you're depressed or riddled with anxiety or dealing with heavy stuff, it can be really hard to even remember what it is that you like to do. It's kind of hard to remember, like, well, what would make me happy right now? How do I want to distract myself right now? And sometimes, especially with depression, it's like there's no energy to do it anyway. So for that, I suggest that you have a list. Make it today. Make it after you listen to this podcast. Have a list that has the things that you enjoy. Put down everything that makes you feel good, movies that you like, activities that you enjoy, yoga, walking, a friend that you know will make you laugh and be lighthearted, anything. Write it all down so that when you're in that time of despair and you're just under it and you feel buried by the feelings and the thoughts and the emotions, you can just reach out to that list, pick one, and go forth and feel better. Bring your energy up, bring your emotions back up to a happier place. The next is find the silver lining. And I know y'all don't want to hear this one, but this is who I am. I can find a silver lining anywhere. I could be dropped right in the middle of like a KKK rally and find the silver lining. Well, everyone really starched their whites. No one has stains on their hoods. Yay. I'll find a silver lining somewhere, somehow. And I know it annoys the people around me, but not to be Pollyanna, but we have to find a silver lining in order to remember that, yes, there is hope. Yes, there are good things going on. Yes, this is temporary. Yes, there is going to be a time when I'm past this, through this. I can get through it. And here's a silver lining as proof. One of the ways that I love to find a silver lining is by doing gratitude practices. And if you know me before this podcast, then you know I will beat the gratitude drum to death. I tell everybody to do this. I'll put some links to videos I've done on gratitude practices and ideas. But just for podcast purposes, in the mornings when you wake up, write down what you're grateful for. And I will be completely honest, when I am in the throes of depression, when I was in the very beginning stages of mourning the loss of my brother, when I am just really under it, it's hard for me, and I am positive Patty up in this bitch, and it's hard for me to find something to honestly feel grateful for. And it's okay to be in that place, but I still want you to do the exercise. I still want you to make a gratitude list. And even if it's like, I'm grateful that I have a hand to write this with. I am grateful that I don't have syphilis, which literally is what I have written down before. I just wrote a list of like, I'm grateful I don't have this disease. I'm grateful I don't have that disease. And really, that's all I could muster at the time. But you know what happened after that? When I was writing those things, I kind of laughed at myself. And that kind of boosted my energy up momentarily, at least. So I say all that to say, I start a gratitude journal every morning or every evening. I have an app on my phone. I think it's just called the Gratitude app. The icon is a red square with a white heart in it, and it pops up a couple times a day and reminds me to write what I'm grateful for. So I stop what I'm doing and I add it in. Just little things like right in the here and now. And if we're friends on Facebook, you know I do this to you as well. I'll just put my Facebook status as stop what you're doing. What are you grateful for right now? It's always good to remember that there are things to be grateful for. And if you're listening to this, you are not allowed to say, I have nothing to be grateful for, because you've got ears to listen to this podcast. You've got some type of tool to hear it on. You probably have running water in your home or wherever you're living. So you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of like a large part of the planet. So yay, things to be grateful for. But yeah, so find the silver lining, because there is one. Even if we don't feel like it's there, it's there. And again, I'll put in the show notes, I'll put a gang of links for you to help with that. And then the sixth item on my list is do drugs. Yay. And I wrote a blog post on this topic about what to do when life gets shitty. And in the do drugs section, I said, I'm not talking about the local meth head or the corner boys. What I'm talking about is prescribed drugs to help with your mental and emotional health. Now, I know in my community, it is just taboo. Therapy, mental health, anything, certainly drugs for mental health is just looked so down on. Like, oh my God, you're sick, you crazy, you can't handle things on your own. You got Big Mama talking about how she made it through X, Y, and Z without drugs, without therapy. Yeah, that's great. But guess what? You are not here to suffer. I repeat, you are not here to suffer. It does not matter what so-and-so went through and got through without help. It does not matter. What matters is you, and you being as healthy and happy as you can be right now. So if that means you need to go to the doctor and get some Paxil, which hashtag saved my life, then that means that's what you have to do. Get that Xanax, get whatever the hell it is that you need to give you that temporary lift up to where you can survive and cope and deal with the drama that you've got going on. I don't even know the words to express how deeply I feel about this. Both medicine and therapy are often needed to help with a lot of ailments in mental health. And it just saddens me that a certain subset of the community is not going for that help because of how they feel they may be perceived. So let's just break that stigma right now. Look, if you're Black or brown, go to Dr. whoever and get what you need to feel better. Please, we need you here. And I don't want any kind of weird, raggedy thoughts getting in your head and taking you away from us. All right? For real. I'm putting some resources in the show notes, so please make use of them and do drugs. Yay. Okay, so those are my top 6 for what to do when life is just shitty and just things to remember. I hope it was useful for you. But right now, I'm just going to take a slight pivot and talk to you about what you can do during this coronavirus / COVID-19 debacle that we are living through. And before I give you the tips, I want to just give you permission to do nothing. I feel like sometimes we feel like we have to do, we have to be, we have to create, we have to cope a certain way. However you're coping is the way you need to cope right now. So don't judge it. Don't feel away, and don't feel like any of these tips are further shoulds. Don't go shoulding all over yourself. There's no should here. These are tips that I want to offer you if you feel they resonate with you. Okay? I don't want this adding to a to-do list. All right? I want to make that abundantly clear because we are living through some weird shit right now. We're cleaning, we're cooking, we're taking care of our kids, we're working from home, or we're dealing with a job loss and trying to find a new job. We're homeschooling, we're distance learning with our children. We're doing a lot. And on top of that, we have to worry about finding toilet paper and our family and friends catching a virus, us catching a virus. There's a lot. And then double that if you are someone who still has to work outside the home and be in these COVID streets, every day. There's a lot going on. So please take everything that comes next as suggestions that are being offered, not as anywhere that you should be, not as a to-do list item. You feel me? You feel me? All right. So specifically during COVID-19 / coronavirus pandemic drama, here are a few tips of things you can do to feel better, to improve your life during it. And again, this is only if you have the bandwidth for it. All right. So the first one is avoid the news. I like this one because I avoid the news always. And if your knee-jerk reaction is, but I gotta what, sis? Know how many people died? For what reason? So you can tell somebody else how many people died? There is no need to, we've consumed what we need to consume about this. And we know what has been told to us about how to stay safe. So now it's just let's turn off the TV, turn off the radio, and let's just do what we're told to stay safe for our families and do what we feel is best for our families. Turn off that noise, because that extra noise is just there to make us more anxious under the guise of being well informed. For reals. The other thing is to pursue laughter. This is raggedy. This COVID-19 is just raggedy, and it's bringing out the raggedy in everybody. Real talk. So I say pursue laughter. Whatever that movie is that will crack you up every time, put it on. For me, it's Life and Harlem Nights. I will watch that and just crack up. So put on what you know will make you laugh. Rewatch The Office, whatever it is. Just do something to bring laughter. Laughter raises your vibrations. If we're going to go into the woo, laughter raises your vibrations. It gets you thinking in a higher place. You're just more in alignment when you're laughing and enjoying the moment. And it's okay to laugh and enjoy the moment, even though there's a whole bunch of bullshittery going on around us and outside. Okay? So pursue laughter. Play. Whether you have kids or not, play. Return to playing. I don't care if it's spades, unless you guys are going to fight. If you're the type of family who will fight around a spades table, then please don't. But if you can do it lightheartedly, play some spades. Play dominoes. Do a puzzle together. Just have some lighthearted fun. Play old school games, charades. You don't need any tools for that. Just enjoy life. Play, color with your kids. Do something silly. My kids and I have been playing red light, green light, 1, 2, 3 a lot lately. I'm done spinning. I'm still spinning right now. I'm having flashbacks to red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. But play, have some fun. Now, if you have time off, if you're home, working from home, and you have time to do other things, then these options are for you. Look at what's unfinished. Look around your house at what's unfinished that you can tackle. This is also great for the distracting because it's a productive way to distract yourself. And again, there is no productivity contest going on here. So if you don't have the bandwidth, just ignore this part of the podcast. So finish something unfinished. I know my husband and I, we finally painted one of the hallways in the house. And you can judge me if you want to. We've had that paint since summer of 2018. And we hadn't painted that hallway, but we finally got it done. So look at that. That's a silver lining. Thank you, COVID. So find things like that are unfinished that you can do, that you can tackle around the house. And it doesn't have to be painting a wall. It doesn't have to be something to fix the house, but just look for unfinished projects. Maybe you started crocheting last year and now you want to get back to it. Why not? Look for what's unfinished and just get back to it. Other things that you can do is decluttering. That's something that I'm constantly doing, and I know that my readers and friends on Facebook often join me in challenges for. It seems like everyone loves to declutter, but then we just get more shit, and then we're gonna have to declutter again. So why not take some time to declutter now, right? So declutter, you can start exercising, and don't go crazy. Like, please don't think that, okay, I gotta get my summer body by the time I get out of this quarantine. No, just do something that feels good. Dance when D-Nice has his house parties. Dance with Debbie Allen doing her little classes. Just enjoy yourself. Try yoga if it's something that you've always wanted to try but didn't have the time. YouTube abounds with free workouts for any type that you like. There is an account called Fitness Blender that I really like. It has different workouts, all free. You can go by body part. You can go by how long you want the workout to be. Check them out. Free, not sponsored, just saying. And so cooking, that's something. Learning something new, starting a new project. These are things that you can do to just take your mind off of things, incorporate your family, and give your mind a little break from the anxiety and the worry and the drama that's going on outside that you're kind of inundated with. And lastly, I want to offer that you do some reading or personal development work. And if you're listening to this, then you likely already are. So yay, I'm clapping, but softly so I don't mess up the audio. So yay for you and kudos. This is the perfect time to start your inner journey. There has to be a little bit of self-care, no matter where you're at in your emotions about what's going on right now. There has to be some self-care time. That is the one thing you cannot afford to bypass, especially when times are shitty, because often that's the first thing to go. So I want to encourage you to keep it up. You don't have to be doing, your nails and hair and eyebrows at the same rate that you were doing before, but your inner work, that matters. Taking time to breathe, learning breathwork techniques, reading a book about whatever, spirituality, personal development, goal setting, I don't care. Doing something to feed your soul, feeding yourself, doing some personal development, self-care work is crucial, especially at a time like this. So, yeah, okay, I have gone on longer than I expected to, but I really feel passionate about this. I want you guys to be happy and healthy and well and just feel good and know that you deserve to, no matter what's going on in the outside world or around you in your immediate family. So I just want to offer these to you with love, but you know yourself. You know what you can handle, can't handle, where your boundaries are, what you are able to take on or not. So from everything that I offered you in this podcast, please just take what resonates and lovingly release what doesn't, because it is all good. What matters is that you're safe, happy, healthy, and here. So be gentle with yourself, be loving with yourself, and know that this is all coming from a place of my love for you as well. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in a week. Bye.